Well, good morning, YouTube. We have a different type of video for you today. We're going to tell you a bit of a story, and it's kind of an epic one.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, and this is Tim, and we are in my garage, and we're going to be telling you, well, Tim's mostly be telling you. I just want to be here because it's hilarious. Tim's story about his 348 and an unusual situation that happened with it. Do you want me to turn on monetization and then I can donate that?
Dude, keep it. Turn it on and keep it. You've helped me out so much. It's something I can do back for you.
I just feel guilty doing that.
No, don't. At all. I would feel good being able to do something for you.
All right, well, to give you a bit of a quick background, Tim was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Part of the reason we're telling the story is because
We can.
we can. Prior to this situation, it was probably not a good idea to tell this story, and then the situation changed. I'm just gonna leave it at that and let you tell this story and maybe ask some questions here and there.
All right. First of all, I want to thank everybody for your outpouring of love and support. I read all the comments. Sorry.
It's okay, man. I've been blown away.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to respond to every one of you, but thank you. So, enough of the sad shit. Let's get on to funny stories. I've kept this on the real low down for my safety and my ability to perform my job. But when I met Dan, and I still am a police officer, I'm currently a detective here in Austin, and at the time I met Dan, I was doing a lot of undercover work.
I'm undercover deep now. This is deep. I'm going deeper. I don't want no more money or nothing, but I'm going deep, 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 deep undercover.
Half of my days were undercover, the other half were in uniform. We were out targeting street level narcotics, prostitution, violent crimes and stuff. And so obviously I couldn't put out there that I was doing this because then people might possibly recognize me. But now that I'm not on the streets anymore, flying a desk, the guy we're going to talk about is no longer with us. We thought it's time to tell a pretty funny story. Right after I got the 348, we took it over to Josh's shop, and this was like 2 days.
His old shop.
His old shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was like 2 days after I got the 348 home. I took it over there to Josh's, and we started working on it. And I'd never met Josh, didn't know anything about him. Ended up becoming great friends, and he did a lot of good stuff for me. About the second day I was there, this white Aventador pulled into the parking lot. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, it's one of those you look at it and you're like, oh, that's cool, and then you start really looking, you're like,
Yeah, this was a beautiful car from 30 feet away.
maybe 60.
Yeah.
It was ragged. If you remember, that's the one Josh took the Sawzall to it
Yeah.
because it had been sitting outside.
Oh, there it goes.
Or underwater, maybe.
And it had water damage, so it seized up the wing.
These two dudes came in it and dropped it off, and they took off. And so I made a comment to Josh. I was like, oh, it's a nice car. Josh's infamous quote, that's a f***ing shit box. So, just in passing conversation, whose is that? And Josh's like, oh man, those two dudes that just dropped it off buy salvage cars, and then they either lease them or sell them to dope dealers and stuff. And I was like, oh, dope dealer car? The cop in me coming out, he's like, yeah, some f***ing dope dealer, don't know who it is. So I let it go in my head. And then less than a week later, we got into a conversation again about it because the dope dealer, his name's Binky, by the way. So Binky had pressured Josh all week to get the car done because he wanted to drive it. So Josh did his best. He's like, all right, he said, it's not sorted, dude, but you can drive it. So Binky drove it off, went over to the east side, and he went to a park over there that's notorious for nothing but dope dealing. I mean, this park is rough, and it's one of our target areas in my area. Josh was supposed to meet me at the shop, and he texted me. He said, hey, dude, I'm going to be late. I'll meet you at like 5 o'clock, whatever. So when he finally got there, he was pissed. And I was like, what's up? He's like, man, I had to go over on the east side and rescue that Lambo. It overheated in the park, and he had to get it home. So and I had to take it over to some street over there. I was like, and so now I'm really interested because it's in my area. And so I'm like, so where'd you take it? And he's like, I was over Fort something. I was like, Fort Branch? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, that's Binky. So to give you a little background on this, Binky has done federal time a couple times for dope sales. Claims he always gambled. He wasn't a dope dealer, which is bullshit. I've heard from multiple people that he has just hundreds of thousands of dollars buried on his property. And
Don't go looking.
he'd also been involved in like 3 murders, and every time got off on self-defense. And then the last person he shot, they got in an argument over they were shooting dice. You know, the guy accused Binky of cheating, which has been a pretty common denominator in a lot of his cases. And so anyway, they got into it, and Binky pulled a gun on him. Dude took off running, ran out in the middle of the street. Binky chased him. This is right next door to some bougie little cafe. Binky caps this dude in the ass in the middle of the street, middle of the intersection, and runs off. You know, like 50 people witnessed it. Somehow he got out of it because uncooperative victim. And so the word on the street is Binky paid him $5,000 to make the case go away. So down the road, and this was probably 6-8 months ago, Binky was playing cards in a garage. And when he went to leave, a bunch of dudes jumped him and shot him and killed him. And word on the street is they got $50K off of him that night. And you have to realize every time I stopped Binky, he had between $3,000 and $9,000 cash on him, usually between $6,000 and $9,000. If he was
You pulled him over or busted him
many times, yeah. And if he was clean, he'd stop for you every time.
Didn't you say he actually knew you by name?
Oh yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit about that in a sec. And so if he was clean, didn't have any dope, he'd stop for you every time, be super polite. But if he was dirty, he'd run. And so that's how he got his last federal case. A buddy of mine went to stop him, and he ran and crashed and ended up leaving a gun and like an ounce of cocaine in the car. This was a new Lambo to him. He went as soon as he got out of federal prison, which he got out early for. So the only way to get out of Fed prison early is to snitch. So Binky was a snitch. I'll put that out there. If anybody wants to disagree, well, fine, but Binky was a snitch. Binky got out of federal prison, bought a brand new Corvette.
I mean, that's the first thing I do when I get out of prison. I got enough money for a Corvette.
Yeah, they go look for a job.
Yeah.
He never worked a day in his life.
Well, worked.
Legit work. He never filled out a W-4. Let's put it
There you go.
He got in a pursuit, outran the cops, but crashed it and totaled it. So he bought another one. That lasted about 6 months. Wash, rinse, repeat. And so then he got an R8, and that's when I started getting interested. And so I did a bunch of investigative work on that. Nothing ever happened with it because it's above me. And then he got the white Aventador. I did a workup on him, found a lot of the same players and everything, using shell companies to buy it and stuff, like a computer company with 2 employees that made $68,000 a year.
And Aventador.
Yeah. And the dude lives in a duplex that looks like it's going to fall down. So that's how I got the VIN off of that and was able to run it. Just went in there while I was in the shop and looked at it. Like, all right, let's do this. So when I told Josh that, he was like, oh, well, that thing's got to go. So it was still there for a little while. And one of the best things is Josh was real tight on storage space there. So, it was double stacked cars everywhere, one on the lift, one underneath it.
For storage, yeah.
For storage. Mine had the top position and Binky was the bottom.
And yours was dropping oil onto it.
348 dripping oil right on it. So it was just...
We loved just sitting there staring at it for the irony of like the cop's car sitting above the drug dealer's car, dropping oil onto it. It was kind of poetic justice in a way.
It was. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to put Binky away forever, but like I said, somebody else did. Not in a very nice way, but you live by those rules on the street, it's gonna get you. So then the glorious day of the first startup at the 348.
Dude! That sounds great. Oh, shit!
It's idling at 1,000.
Oh, dude, it's not doing the surge shit anymore?
When it was blowing flames, if y'all look carefully, the front of the Aventador is right there, trying to make s'mores with it.
Well, the best part about that is I still remember when that video came out and, Josh is revving the crap out of it. And I even asked Josh, I'm like, do you want us to move the Aventador? And he's like, no, keep it. And of course we all knew why, right? And so here's Josh revving the piss out of it and it's shooting flames out right at the Aventador. And everyone watching the video was like, I can't believe you guys didn't move that Aventador. And all of us were just kind of like, we had our reasons.
And we can finally tell it.
Yeah, we just couldn't tell you why we had our reasons we didn't move it.
That was good times.
Oh man.
Champagne beers. Gentlemen,
Yes, success.
success. 9,000 RPMs,
Yes.
bitches.
And flames.
And flames. Woo!
America. Italian American.
Spaghetti.
A huge thanks to Tim for telling us this amusing story. The whole time that the car was there, that both those cars were there, it was just so, it felt like a weird like Miami Vice thing, you know. It's just like, how I mean, what are the odds your arch nemesis, his property is at the same shop at the same time? And also, it's kind of funny because a cop owning a Ferrari is kind of unusual. Like, I mean, although we know a couple, that was an unusual thing. And then for like the drug dealer to have the Lamborghini, it was just so perfect.
It was.
Oh man.
And then you asked if he knew me by name. So
Oh yeah.
right after he got out of Fed, we were doing surveillance one night. We saw some exchanges with this big black duffel bag. I'm sure it was dope or money or something, and we didn't know who it was. And so we stopped the truck. Later we got a stop on it, and Binky was in the back. It was the first time I'd seen him I hadn't seen him in probably 4 years. So I was asking everybody for their IDs, and he's in the back seat on the far side of the pickup. I was at the driver's side. And I was like, sir, can I get your license? And he's like, Parcell. They all think my last name's Parcell instead of Purcell. So, but anyway, he's like, Parcell, you know who I am? I'm like, oh, Binky, what's up? He's like, man, you got old. I was like, yeah, you got fat. They dumped that baggie off when they made us stop, so we didn't get anything, but it was still funny. So after that, he got a red Huracan.
Oh, after the Aventador?
After the Aventador.
Oh, I didn't know this.
It was a sweet Huracan, it really.
Oh, it wasn't the piece of shit that the Aventador was?
Well, just from outside appearances.
Okay,
it
yeah.
looked
You
much
never got
better.
closer than 30 feet.
Yeah, well, I actually saw him rolling through a park on a Sunday. We were doing enforcement ops in the park. And I hadn't been able to, I'd seen this car back, he always would back into his carport.
Yeah.
And a lot of times he covered the car, but he never had a front license plate, which none of us do. But
Yeah, but it gives you a good excuse
yeah,
to pull
but
over.
that gave me an excuse to stop him. But I hate to be hypocritical, so I knew his window tint was too dark, and so I stopped him for that. And of course, he was pissed off. But yeah, I calmed him down. It's kind of like the sheepdog and the wolf. You know, when I'm at work, I'm going to work. You know, if I see you any other time, I'm going to just walk on by.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was being pretty polite, and so I got his ID and everything, and I basically just wanted to be able to identify the car so I could run history on it and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, get intel. And so while I was back there doing my stuff on my computer, a couple officers from another sector came over to back me up.
Yeah.
They hadn't been there 5 seconds, and it just erupts. You motherfucker!
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, God damn it. So I walk over like, what? Yeah, you know, he's asking me all kinds of questions, Parcell, it's none of his goddamn business. I was like, well, you could have politely told him that. I was like, we don't need to get all crazy. You know, just, if you don't want to answer his questions, you don't have to. Just tell him that. You're right. But he's accusing me of being a dope dealer. Tell him what I do. I was like, you're a dope dealer and a gambler.
You said that?
He's like, what? I was like, look at your record, Binky. Have you been convicted of possession with intent to distribute? Yeah. I was like, you're a dope dealer. Well, Mom, I'm out of that game now. I'm just a gambler. I was like, all right, so we'll leave it as it. You're a former drug dealer that's gone to gambling. I was like, how much money you got on you? About $9K. I was like, well, you realize that I could seize that right now because you just admitted that you don't work, and so that's your only source of income is gambling. So I could seize that right now if I want to be a dick. So we're going to be calm and act like men, or are we going to jump off here? You right, Parcell. That was just kind of the relationship we had. It was good times.
Well, again, a huge thanks to Tim for telling us this story. I'm so glad that we got to tell this story to you guys because I mean,
We've
all of
wanted
us
to for so long.
Yeah, we've known it for all this time, and we just never could talk about it. And it's just such a perfect story. We're gonna try and do some more interesting stuff. If you didn't know, we got some things up our sleeve. We want to do some special things for Tim, so we're working on that. Hopefully, we get to do those pretty soon. We'll bring you guys along as Tim has requested. He actually wants me to leave on monetization, so it's on. That is his decision, not mine. So we'll leave
That's
that on.
100% my decision, and it's a great way that I can give something back to Dan for everything he's done for me. Because let's face it, without Dan, I wouldn't have the Ferrari.
Well,
It's true.
hey, you know what? It's the adventure that we've had with that 348.
So much fun.
I mean, those are some fantastic. Like that's the first Ferrari engine that I personally torn apart, and I'm sure for you, and you know, like I've done engine outs on other, like I've done a Chevy and an Oldsmobile and a Ford, but never a Ferrari prior to this. That was a whole new thing.
We just jump in. That was
Let's just go for it. God, and then no coolant splash.
We got fucking. Did you get something in your mouth?
Yeah.
How'd it taste?
It's coming over there.
That's what gave me cancer. I'm suing Presto.
Oh man.
My liver didn't like it.
All right, guys, we're gonna see you soon. We're gonna be doing more car stuff, so you're gonna want to stay tuned. It's gonna be sweet.